Please repeat Nancy's Riot podcast about positivity, being strong, get survival, mental health, helping each other and overcoming life's challenges. Psycho like a lab, I'll wish to be a herd. Hey. Chasing me is everything to the Lord alone. Hey. I'll let go and chase.
Hi everyone, welcome to Nancy's Riot. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing today? Taking questions for a few minutes before we continue recording my episode that's dropping, a few episodes that I'm going to be filming. So if any of you have any questions, by all means, please type them in. So I don't know if you guys saw my message that I posted in my stories, but if you've been following my journey, I'm a brain surgery patient. Had brain surgery 4 years ago. I also left an abusive marriage at the same time. And that is the catalyst of why I'm here today. That the last 4 years have been life-changing for me. And the growth that I've had and the guidance that I know how powerful my story is, and I feel that keeping it to myself and not sharing it with others, I would be doing an injustice to the world. So hence why I'm here. And I'm going to be opening up more about my life, what it is like to be a brain surgery patient. And I've had another surgery 6 months ago, which I've not discussed, but I will be opening up about that. And a few other things just to take you more in depth about my life. So if any of you on my Facebook, if you have any questions, feel free to call that number or type them in the chat. And going to be here for a few minutes, taking some questions and whatnot, and interacting with you guys. So I hope you'll join me. Welcome to Nancy's Riot. So the phone number that you could call is 702-329-6947. 702-329-6947. Call me. So the international 1-855-502-4321. Canada, my lovely Canadians, please call 587-997-3200. USA 702-329-6947. I'm at Go Live Studios.
Take off, eh?
Vegas. So I'm going to take a few questions. I'm going to be here for a couple minutes because I have to record, but please feel free to call in, type in your questions, and get to know me and learn the rhythm of my voice. Okay. I'm going to wait here until you guys start asking me questions. So I'm sure somebody has something to ask me because I never do this. Hello, world. This is Nancy Frago, live from Go Live Vegas for Nancy's Riot, dropping Tuesday, 1/6. Cheers. Doesn't anybody want to call me? You've got my number. I get DMs, people asking for my number, and I'm giving you my number. Call me. 702-329-6947. Or comment in the chat. Yeah, comment in the chat if you don't want to call me, and I'll answer some questions. If you've been curious about anything I've posted, anything you'd like to know about me, here's your chance. Oh, and by the way, I got bangs, in case you guys haven't seen, but changed my hairdo for 2026.
Somebody.
Come on. I know you guys have questions. Let me see. I never do this, guys. So I'm out of my comfort zone, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I have a lot to offer to the world, a lot to teach you, a lot for me to learn from you, with questions that might come in that otherwise I wouldn't not answer. So
I have a question for you. It's some of them.
okay.
Good. Go.
Why did I have brain surgery? So that's an interesting question. No one's ever asked me. Well, they've asked me why, but I had brain surgery because I had a cavernous malformation removed in the back left lobe of my brain. And I have they removed a piece of my brain the size of a quarter, and I have a titanium plate with 16 screws. And it happened it was April of 2020. They'd actually had found the malformation in 2013. That's just something I never shared with anybody. And part of the reason why I never told anybody about the cavernous malformation is I did not want anybody feeling sorry for me or putting limitations on what I could do. So until the day came, which was April of 2020, I woke up around 2 a.m. with an excruciating migraine that was different than any other migraine I'd ever felt. My blood pressure was at stroke level. And I was just trying to basically keep myself alive until I could call my doctor, because it was during COVID, and they told me, no matter what, Nancy, do not go to the ER unless you think you're not going to make it, because they're going to mark you down as a COVID patient due to the migraines, the vomiting, and since we knew so little bit about COVID at the time. So I was just doing everything I could to keep myself comfortable and keep my blood pressure from going any higher, because if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I didn't think I was going to make it that night. The pain was so severe. I think it was worse than child labor. It was so intense. And I called my doctor at about 7 a.m, went in to see her, and she kept me in her office all day trying to get my blood pressure to normalize. And if it was not for her, I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you guys or even sharing my story, because they don't even know how I survived that night. They couldn't get me into the MRI machine fast enough to see if the malformation had bled out, but that is what they think happened. And for those of you who do not know what a cavernous malformation is, it's basically veins in your brain that intertwine and they turn into a mass, and they think it bled out and that I did have a stroke. But here I am to share my story. And they kept me alive on medications until May 25th of 2021, which was the day that I had surgery, and I consider that my rebirth. So that is why I had brain surgery. It did. Gosh.
Always read the question.
Did the brain surgery affect anything? It did. Although the outside shell looks the same, I'm a completely different person. I consider that my rebirth, because I woke up not Nancy anymore. And I lost my vision 6 weeks after surgery, which was expected. My surgeon did tell me that when he woke me up, if I was unable to see, I would be blind for the remainder of my life. There was no reversing that, but that I would be losing my vision. He couldn't tell me when, but the further away from surgery I lost my vision, it would come back. He just couldn't tell me how good or how much of it. And it was gone for about a month. And then when it did come back, my depth perception was off. So I was breaking things, and I started slurring. I had a lisp, which I still do sometimes when I'm really tired, which is interesting because I'm going to get into that another time. But also I had developed dyslexia. And I've been working very hard for the last few years to reverse all that. And unless I'm tired, That's sometimes, or I overstimulate my brain. That is sometimes when my speech slows down, and sometimes I'll have a lisp, and sometimes I will slur. And as far as the dyslexia, what's interesting is about 2 years ago, I told somebody that, my dyslexia is almost gone, and they laughed and they said, well, I didn't know dyslexia goes away. And my answer was, well, I wasn't born with it. It was due to brain surgery, so it was reversible. It has been. But again, still sometimes when I have overstimulate my brain or I just don't get enough sleep, my brain function does slow down. So it has affected me. And it isn't, the best way I can explain what it's like to be me is in the mornings, I need to ease into my day very quietly. I meditate and I speak for a living. So once I'm done doing any speaking, I have to give my brain about an hour of silence. And it's almost like I have to delete the conversations of the day from my brain. Otherwise, sometimes in the middle of the night, I could wake up laughing because I remember a conversation from that day that might have been funny, or it hit a spot. So it has changed me in that manner. Were you scared going into surgery? Oh my gosh. I had to numb my emotions for 5 months leading up to brain surgery. I've never been so scared in my life. 2 weeks prior to my surgery, I woke up at 5 a.m. every single day and I could not get it out of my head. And that is all I thought of for 2 weeks. And 48 hours before brain surgery, I remember looking at if you follow me on Facebook and you read my journey, I left an abusive, short-lived marriage 4 months after my brain surgery. Anyhow, I remember telling him, I don't think I can go through with it. I think I'm just going to roll the dice, and if I die, I die. Because I didn't think I could go through with it. Just the thought of having my skull being drilled into, a piece of my brain being gone, and just not knowing how I was going to wake up, because I had to plan for my death. I had to plan that if I did make the surgery and I was immobile, how I wanted to live out my life. So I almost chickened out 48 hours before I was going to call my neurosurgeon and tell him I'm not going to go through with it. But in that moment, I sat with the emotion and that fear. I got over it, and I knew that life is too precious. And I couldn't take that chance. And if I was going to take that chance, it was going to be on that operating table to be able to survive. And I had made myself a promise that if I survived the surgery, I was going to live my life differently, more authentically. And I've been doing just that. And why I'm here today, and why I'm starting this podcast. When you do public speaking, what do you talk about? It depends on what it is that I'm being asked to speak about. I was a mom. I became pregnant at 15, so I'm a teenage mom. I gave birth at 16. By age 19, I had 2 children, and I was a military wife. I lost my first child at 22. By 29, I was divorced with 3 kids, and I had to start life all over again and rebuild it. So there's not very many subjects that I can't speak on. So really, it just depends on what it is that I'm asked to talk about, or how to get resiliency overcoming obstacles. So it just really depends on the subject that somebody wants me to discuss when I do speaking engagements. You cousin, you're such a warrior. Mwah. Azucena. Thank you, cousin.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, no. So if anybody else has any other questions, I'm going to take a couple more. If not, I'm going to cut this live short because I got to record for you guys. And I hope that you like what I'm about or what I've created and my message and what I have to offer to the world. It's going to be magical. And I hope you join me on this journey on Tuesday, January the 6th, first episode dropping. See you at Nancy's Riot.
One question.
One more question. Okay.
Sure.
What is my message? Well, that's a good question as well. I would say one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last 4 years is how resilient the human spirit is. At my lowest is when I have found myself. And all those lows, I have more lows than I do highs, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I live with chronic pain from brain surgery. And I just had foot surgery 6 months ago. So you guys are hearing this for the first time because I've not spoken about it publicly. I have a medical procedure tomorrow. And part of the reason why I decided to do this now is because one of the reasons I'm doing this is I want to be authentic, unscripted, unedited, and for you guys to get the raw version of me, the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with life. And tomorrow my face is going to look completely different. They have to go in through my nose for the medical procedure. And I'm debating letting you guys going live on Tuesday instead and letting you guys see what I look like and what I go through. Because I think being authentic is missing right now in so many levels. I think humanity and just that human to human interaction of us being able to have a discussion. We can disagree, but do it in a kind, respectful way that I think right now so much of it is gone with what's going on in the world. And I've never made it a secret. I am not a Trump supporter. You will hear me speak up about it. And some other things that occurred during his last term that have stuck with me. For those of you that do not know, I served as a translator the night of the shooting, October 1st. And there are stories that never left, even though I lost a piece of me from brain surgery. Losing that piece has made me whole. And I've realized that the magic is beyond the fear. And if there's anything I'd like to tell you guys is, for me personally, I felt my melody before brain surgery, but I could tell you now I truly have the rhythm of life down. And if you haven't found your rhythm, but you feel your melody, then you're in the right spot. Because we're going to do a lot together and do some magical things in this world because I can't do it alone. I need other people to do it with me. And in case you didn't read of why the meaning behind the name is somebody very close to me, or I'd asked people that know me very well, if you had to sum it up in one word, what it is like to have a conversation with me. And this individual said, "You're a riot." And I am a riot to have a conversation with. So I hope that you'll converse with me whenever I do go live and the numbers go up. You want to call me, you want to talk to me, and you'll find out why I'm a riot to have a conversation with. So with that said, thank you guys for watching, and hope you tune in on the 6th.
No delay in our grind. Platinum service on our mind. Views always on the climb. Shout out to the streamers. We switching up the game. Go live Vegas. Remember the name. Spotlight on every show. We bring that Vegas heat. 777 on the logo. Our hustle's never discreet. Dropping content non-stop. Setting trends. We never flop. When it comes to streaming.